CBS 12 News This Morning.
CBS 12's Gary Woodham joining us live in Boynton Beach with some useful advice on how to keep things safe this season. Gary.
Yeah, you know what, guys, if you don't have a fire extinguisher, now might be the time to get it. And then where do you put it? How do you use it? There's lots of things you need to know, and that's why we got Peter Schull here from Lifesafety Management. And we're talking about fire extinguishers today. 'Tis the season to burn a house down, it turns out. So explain to us real quick how to use one of these things.
The operation of a fire extinguisher is actually very simple to do. There's 4 steps in terms of operating the extinguisher. So once you identify that you need to use it, you follow the directions that are on it, pull the pin, aim it at the base of the fire, squeeze the valve trigger.
And pretty simple. I mean, the pin's right here. You just pop it out.
Pop this out.
And then you squeeze.
You point this at the direction of the fire, at the base of it, and squeeze it, and then sweep it back and forth.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we got Toby over there. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is under a controlled environment. We got people here who know how to handle fire. So let's say you got a grease fire right there. Toby, he's going to show us real quick just how to put this out. It's not a major thing, but definitely something that if you're really anxious, that's pretty much it. So, guys, coming up in about 30 minutes, we're going to be talking more about fire safety. And also, there's something interesting about smoke detectors that you're going to want to know. Peter and I are going to be talking about that coming up. That's the latest. Back to you in the studio.
Well, 'tis the season for holiday gatherings, but it's also peak time for fire danger.
CBS 12's Gary Woodham joining us live in Boynton Beach with more this morning. Gary?
Yeah, you know, I mean, there are lots of things you need to be ready for when it comes to the holidays, like those in-laws that you might not like that much. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about keeping you guys safe. We're talking fire extinguishers. We're talking smoke detectors. And we talked fire extinguishers last time. Now, Peter Schull, you've got a smoke detector here. So, I mean, everyone knows you replace the batteries, check it, you know, do things like that. It chirps, replace the battery. But there are certain things that people don't know, and it comes to do with maybe obstructing the the smoke detector. So explain that.
Yeah, absolutely. On the actual body of the smoke detector, it says on there, do not paint it. You want to make sure that the actual smoke detector is not painted, that it's not obstructed, that it's actually installed properly, that it's installed where it needs to be.
And also dust. Dust could go ahead and affect how this works. Because I know I've lived in lots of apartments working in the media biz, jump from place to place. They come in and they paint, and I've seen some spray over that, so that could actually keep these from working correctly. So should you go and clean it if there's some paint on it, or what, just buy a new one?
The easiest thing to do is, if they're so inexpensive, is just replace it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, that's basically great information from Peter here. And so coming up, we're going to talk more about the fire extinguisher safety and maybe what you got to do if you're dealing with a grease fire. That'll be coming up next. Back to you in the studio.
Well, the holiday gatherings are going to be happening, but it's also the peak time right now for fire danger.
CBS 12's Gary Woodham joining us live in Boynton Beach with more on fire safety we should be reminded of.
Yeah, you know, the stats say this time of year, that's when the most residential fires happen. So, you know, you got the family in town, you're cooking, maybe taking your eyes off the food in there. You got the Christmas tree, maybe you didn't water it, it's getting kind of dry. Lots of hazards. So you really should have a fire extinguisher. That's why we got Peter Schull now. You're with Lifesafety Management. You got a fire extinguisher right here. Pretty easy to use, right?
Extremely easy to use. There's instructions right on the extinguisher on how to use it. There's 4 steps. You pull the pin, you aim it at the base of the fire, you squeeze the trigger, and you sweep it on the fire.
And how far back do you want to be?
I want to stay about 10 feet away from the fire.
Gotcha. Now, if your kitchen's not that big, just get as far back as possible.
Get as far back as you possibly can.
All right, cool. So we got Toby over there. He's got a fire extinguisher ready. Now, this is under controlled conditions. We've got that right there, that pan that's simulating a grease fire. You see them? Pretty easy. Just squeeze, point at the bottom. You put it out right there. So, pretty simple stuff when it comes to fire extinguishers, if you have one. And where should you keep it? We'll be talking about that coming up next. We'll be talking to Peter. So that's the latest out here. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, well, now that we're approaching the end of the year, it's time to replace your batteries in your smoke detector.
But there may be bigger problems with your detector that you don't know about. CBS 12's Gary Woodham joining us live with more. Gary.
Yeah, guys, so when it comes to smoke detectors, you definitely want to check the batteries. Also, make sure that they're not covered up. And Peter Schull, now you're with Lifesafety Management. We talked about the smoke detectors, but we're also talking about fire extinguishers. And so where are the best places to leave these things?
Absolutely. It's a common misconception. Most people will try and keep these things in their kitchen. It's one of the worst places you can have it. You want to keep it near an exit away from where the fires are most likely to happen, which is inside the kitchen.
Gotcha. So don't keep it in the kitchen.
Absolutely
keep it away from that. So now talk to us real quick. I mean, you want a fire extinguisher with a gauge. I know there are a lot of consumer ones that don't have a gauge. You just don't know how much pressure they have, right? So you want something like this.
Right. So this small little one that you have right here is one that you may commonly have in your home. The important thing to note about this is both of these extinguishers, regardless of the side, have a gauge on it. And you can see on this one that the one is actually discharged. So this one's bad. This one needs to be replaced.
Gotcha. So you obviously know that this one's still good.
Yep.
And when it comes to cost, $50 or less, this one's probably about $30
Something like that, yeah.
a big box store, nothing major.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So you definitely got to stay safe. Fire extinguisher is the way to do it. Don't keep it in the kitchen. Unfortunately, I'm the guy that's got it underneath the kitchen sink, so I'm going to be removing that. Back to you guys in the studio.